Okay, let's get started here today. So we have been talking about the AWS. What do you say? I mean, yesterday we talked about AWS WAF. This is one of the services provided by the AWS, especially related to the security management. And we have talked about what this exactly and how the pricing is, what are the rules that it is, what are some use cases that we have discussed yesterday. Okay, but let's recap that same again by walking through the dashboard and then doing same thing. Yesterday we couldn't able to log into the AWS console, and then but still we talked about it, and then we discussed about a couple of use cases. Now let's walk through that today and then do a hands-on for that part. Okay, so basically the WAF is web application firewall. In the shortcut it is a WAF. So AWS WAF and Shield, these are the especially to maintain the security related activities. If you want me ask me, I mean, if you ask me very clearly, so to control the access of your web applications. Okay. The web applications currently exposed by the AWS services are using load balancer, CloudFront, I think EKS, not EKS, sorry, ECS, and another fourth services are there. Meaning, if you want to develop a web application or if you want to expose to the outer world, you would be applying using either of these four ways. Okay, in order to maintain a best security practice. That's why you can apply the web application firewall only on these four resources. Okay, let's see those also here. So yeah, Amazon CloudFront, Amazon Application Load Balancer, API Gateway, and the AWS AppSync. These are the four ways. If you developed any web application or any of the application or exposing to the outer world, you would use either of these four and then apply it. Of course, you can do other way also, but still the WAF can apply on these four only. Okay, now let's log into that. Just give me a minute. Okay, I have logged into my account, and now let's get started here. So currently we have been talking about the web application firewall and Shield. Yeah, these two will under the same services, that is AWS WAF and Shield. um, so here we are in global, right? Yeah, so AWS Shield is being applied for the global resources and regional resources, meaning S3 is a global resource. Okay, EC2, VPC, S3, I mean, sorry, not S3. Some other resources are the regional resources. Okay, but AWS Shield, you can apply all the things on the regional and as well as the global resources also here. Okay, now let's talk about the web ACLs, which this is the main part or the main heart of the AWS WAF, which means web access control list. The meaning of this is web access control list. What do you do is you will create a an access control list. By using access control list, you will provide a restrictions, or you will apply some restrictions on your resources in the form of ALB or AppSync or API gateway or ECS services. You will apply these control list on either of these resources and then get a protection from that. Okay, if you ask me, this is what the web ACL, access control list, web application access control list. While creating a web access controls, you will apply some rules. Yesterday we talked about the rules. Those rules we can create by us ourselves, or we can use which are created by some other team members, or you can buy those resources basically. Like yeah, yesterday we talked about the rules developed by the FI team, some kind of AWS team, some kind of some other company, network related company for the bot protection and all the stuff. Either you can create those also here. We will see those what it is all talking about. Before going this, let's understand these options here, and then we will walk through what is all is about here. Okay. Another one is a bot control dashboard. Earlier, right? So the bot control was not been provided. This option is not provided in the AWS earlier. They have recently introduced these bot controls, especially they have created because of the cases of hacking or the cases of DDoS attacks has been increased day by day. So, and even it will come under. So this data will be coming when we created a web ACLs also here exclusively. Okay, we will talk about that also here. See the application integration here also. uh, this is also another feature they have integrated. For example, you might know the what do you say, a captcha, right? Captcha, which means, and you know the captcha, and as well as you will be using whatever the web applications that you have created, whatever the web access control list that you have created here, and it will find some data. For example, it's like a firewall. If you ask me in a simple term, it is like a firewall for your services. Whenever it got the data, what does it do is it will save that, and then it will apply some threat intelligence on the data, and then understand some data itself. For example, in a simple term, I'll tell you, the Flipkart or Amazon, what they are doing is in the back end, they are collecting a lot of logs. The logs of user access. For example, you have signed up and then you logged in, and then you are searching for a product. And then after, for example, you are searching for an electronic product like a TV, and especially you are looking for a 1 GB of RAM of TV, and exclusively with the 2 years warranty. And in a 2 years warranty, very cheapest price you are looking at. Whatever you are doing a filtering or accessing this entire product, it will be logged by the AWS or Flipkart services in a backend. Okay, all actions which you are going to do or which you are doing will be logged in as some kind of a log format. Some logs file. What they do is that log data will be forwarded to the data scientist, and data scientist will understand, this particular user is logging almost every day at night, and in the night he is looking for some particular electronic, and exclusively he is looking for 1 GB specifications RAM, and then he will get a one idea about my behavior, okay, user behavior, and then he will start posting me ads in it, right? So he has taken a data, understand it, and then provide some kind of insights about me, and then based on that insights, he is going to throw me ads on my browser. Hey, you are looking for TV, and this is a 1 GB of RAM, and these are many available options, and also it is very cheap. So he will start targeting me about that particular ad. Similarly, when you start applying these your web ACLs, it will start receiving some data from an external world. For example, hackers will keep on trying for the random access or some random resources, right? Whatever the trying the data, it will keep that data, and then it will keep it under the application integration. It will apply some kind of a threat intelligence modeling, and then it will give you an insight. Okay, your application is trying to access by someone, and then which is having especially from these areas, these kind of an attacks you are going to get. So it will give you some kind of an insight. that information you will be get under here. And even this is a one option. Another one is a captcha integration. For example, for your login page for accessing your web application, you might keep for a captcha. Captcha is for especially for eliminating the remote, I mean, what do you say, programmatical access. Programmatical access means some people, if so, you know, right, how it has been happened. I think you might have heard about the one of the story, like in for our IRCTC website, like what they have done is, for every day, I mean every day 10 o'clock, people would be logging in and everything doing right. Similarly, what they have done is they have written some kind of a test suite, and they will run the test suite at exactly like 2 minutes before of IRCTC Tatkal time, and then the test suite will automatically book and do everything based on the program they have written. So it's like they are accessing a program with the bots kind of thing. To eliminate that, they have introduced the captcha. Captcha is not like the program cannot read the image. I mean, they can read the image, but they cannot read the text which was there in an image. That's why they would be mentioning the captcha. Robot or programs or any nothing can read the data which is inside a image. Okay, so that's why they would be, if you have any keys, I mean, if you have anything like if you want to apply a couple of captchas which should be generated by AWS, you can create these things and then you can provide these APIs. They can try to access it here. Okay, this is all about that. And these two we are not going to use until we create the web ACLs. Okay, now IP set is also part of the web ACLs. This is like you are going to create an IP set. What you are going to do is you would give a list of IP addresses for whitelisting, for block listing, meaning you can create a set, a specific, for example, within your organization. For example, when you are working in an organization, mostly they'll have a VPN access, and VPN will have some kind of IP range. Okay, whatever the access, I mean, for example, you are working from home, and if you want to access your office resources or organization resources, first you have to connect to the IP VPN, and then you need to access our resources. So when you connected a VPN will have some IP address will be assigned to you, and that IP address range that you are going to give in the IP set here. So so this way you will be whitelisted. For example, if you know any specific IP address or any specific IP address ranges that you want to block, you can add this into the IP sets also here. And the next one is a reg pattern sets. What does it mean is there are some concept called regular pattern. I mean, regular expressions. What does it mean is, for example, you have a such some kind of a string. Okay, if you want to filter those strings, that filter is nothing but, for example, I want in a paragraph, I want all words which is starting with a P, which is ending with X, in between the letter should be N. Okay, so this is my requirement. For this, what I do is I'll start writing a regular expression that is nothing but a Linux command, regex. The command is called regex. Okay, you will start applying these filters. So similar one you can also create in the AWS. Let me show you example here. What exactly the regular expression? Regular expression for first letter. First, let me show you. Okay. See this. This is how your regular expression. Expression. This is an expression. Okay. So meaning, what does it mean is, first it has to start with I mean, a letter, and it should start with, sorry, it should not start with dot, underscore, percentage, plus or minus, and it should not start with a special character, and it should also start with uh, small letters or capital letters up to 2 to 4 digits. So this is my I mean, this is my requirement. Okay. So this is how you need to write a regular expression. Okay. So this way you can filter it out by using either you can blacklist or whitelist. Same thing you will be applying it here itself. Okay. So currently we don't use this regular set expression. But while creating a web SELs, when we are talking about the use case, then we will start. Okay. So another one here, which we are talking about the rules group. We are going to create a couple of rule groups, and then we will apply those rule groups. I mean, we will use these rule groups in the web ACLs. Okay. And the next one is AWS Marketplace Manager rules. Okay. The first one, see here, the rule is nothing but a, a set of instructions in order to block or access this one. Okay. For example, this rule, and this is a managed rule by the AWS. Okay, what this is going to do is it protects against the API attacks, web attacks, and server side request forgery. The rule set includes supports of an XML and JSON payloads and common web API frameworks. For example, if you are exposing an API to the external world, and if you want to protect that API of unauthorization access or brute forcing or some kind of attacks, you should have some kind of a protection to your API. Okay, that API, these F5 guys will provide one kind of a rules. If you apply or if you use those rules against your API gateway, you are very safe enough from a common attacks, especially web attacks and server-side forgery request. This is another kind of an attack name, which they will be applying in a backend. Not only this, they have a list of attacks, what they were been, it is going to be protected. That you would be getting by reading this documentation here. How to usage and all the stuff, how about the reviews, what they were doing, and everything you will get to here. Okay. Now we will apply these rules over there. Okay, this is what it is. Now let's go to here and then create a vehicle. Okay, now I'm gonna create North Virginia or CloudFront. CloudFront is a another resources in the AWS. Especially, you will be applying these CloudFront for especially protecting your web application. Okay, so we will see that also here. Now let's go on here. What I'll do is I'll create the Ohio region. I think I don't have any resources in Ohio, but still I can find it out. And in the Ohio region, I'm gonna create this webAcle and 7 in the STL, and this STL is going to this web STL is going to protect from common web attacks. Okay, this is CloudWatch metric name. What does it mean is for every webAcle that you are going to create, what it is going to do is it will create a one metric in your CloudWatch. What does it mean? CloudWatch is another a service from AWS itself that is for the managing. I mean that is for the monitoring of your resources. For every webAcle, what it is going to create, it will create a metric in a CloudWatch. This is a necessary. Why? Because it is going to track what is happened, who is accessing your site, how many requests are coming, what with what data, what action you applied. All these kind of a logging information will be monitored by the CloudWatch and will be logged using the CloudWatch itself. Okay. So now here under the this is my metric name under the CloudWatch. It is going to create once WebAccel is applied. And now you can start applying this WebAccel against what? Okay, you can apply either CloudFront. Okay, oh my god, this has been changed now. It is everything is changing now here. But still, if you want to apply your WebAccel on Regional resources, for example, application load balancers, API gateway, REST APIs, AWS App Sync, GraphQL APIs. These are the some of the things here. Okay. For example, here now I'm gonna create. Okay, I'm gonna apply. Not on the cloud front. I'm gonna apply on the ALB, which is on I think US is one over here region, and it is going to ask me, oh my god, why? Because it is trying to find all the resources under this option. So currently I don't have any resources, so it didn't found if there are any resources under Ohio region related to either ALB or API gateway or app runners, app sync, cognito user, AWS verified access instance. If we have any resources under the using of this, it would show here. Okay, but still we are fine here. Okay, so I'm gonna create. You can add the resources after creating a web API also here. So now I have done here. I mean, I haven't. I've just moved from on a screening page, and now I have to apply here. Okay, so the thing is, you have to understand this one first. First thing is rules. All WebASL means it's all about the rules. The rules are the two types. One is rules created by your own, which is nothing but a own rules, and another one is a managed rules. Managed rule means someone has created a rules and you are applying it. That's it. Okay, that's what you need to add here. This is like a add managed rules or add my own rules and rule groups. This is where you would be creating your own rule and groups, but we did not create a right. So let's go for the manager rules first, then we will come to the one and other groups here. Okay, so these are the available managed rules as I mentioned here, right? This, for example, if you go to the F5 rules, which is for the API security rules, and this is one of the rules where you found here. Yeah, this is one of them. So in the rules or the manager rules provided by these many vendors: F5, Fortinet, GeoGuard, Imperva, ThreatSpot, CloudBreak, Cybersecurity Cloud, AWS. These are all the vendors. These vendors have a different kinds of rules. That rules can be related to Fortinet, WASP 10 rules. If you choose these guys, and if you choose the F5 vendor, they are providing a web exploited WASP rules, common vulnerability exposure rules, bot protection rules, API security rules. These many categories they are providing a rules. What does it mean is, if you want to understand, for example, if you take the bot protection rules, protect against the automated attacks. Bot protection rules is a partner manager rules group by the AWS WAF that stops a broad range of malicious bot activities such as a vulnerability scanner, web scraper, DDoS tools, and forum spam tools. This is what it is going to do if you attach your or if you adopt this bot protection rules. Okay, and now if you see here, there is a capacity. What does it mean by capacity is the compute power which is going to required in order to run these production rules. Okay, there is a limit when you create a webacle, and there is a limit for each webacle or each rule. It has a capacity. Okay, for example, this currently we do have a 5,000 units of a capacity one webacle contains. Okay, and in one among that, if you adopt this, you will be consumed 1,000 capacity. And if you adopt another rule set, another 1,000 capacity here. Okay. So in order to use this, what you need to do is first you have to subscribe this, because this is managed by the F5 guys. Okay. This is an example. Now let's go on vendor, because we are going to get a free managed rules by a AWS. Not like free, I could say, we don't need to subscribe, but still we will be getting this. Okay, so here the point is, if you adopt the AWS managed rules, AWS is also providing some kind of a managed rules. That rules related to paid rules. I mean, account creation fraud prevention, account takeover prevention, bot control prevention. Yeah, these are the some of the free rules. Admin protection rules, Amazon IP reputation list, anonymous IP list, core rule set, known bad inputs, Linux operating system, PHP applications, POSIX operating system. These are their rule set names. For example, if you go to the known bad inputs, contains a rules that allows you to block the request patterns that are known to be invalid and are associated with the exploitation exploitation or discovery of vulnerabilities. This can help reduce the risk of malicious actor discovering a vulnerable application. What does it mean is, if you start adopting this particular rule set, it will eliminate or it will save you from giving a bad inputs, meaning some people, for example, some people will start applying it. I'll show you one of the things. There is a something called bug bounty. Okay. What does it mean is, they will start applying the bug bounty, meaning they will tell you, hey, I have published my web application. If someone find any bug in my system, I'm going to reward them. So this is what they are going to, this is called a bug bounty program, or I think they'll call some other called bounty or some other thing here. Okay, for example, here, if you take this guy, where is this? Oyo. Oh, these guys has published their publications and all the stuff here, and these are the domains. If you found any of the vulnerabilities under these domains, you can report them. They will give you the bounty for that. Okay, here the point is, there are a lot of priorities. If you found a remote vulnerability, I mean remote code execution, this is a priority one, I mean P1 kind of an issue. So meaning, by executing, meaning if you found a vulnerability which is exposed in execution, what they can do is they can directly access your entire EC2 resources itself. If they found any vulnerability of remote, I'll show you remote code RCE bargain bug bounty. Okay, for example, yeah, remote code execution. There is a something called bug crowd, like a hacker rank also here. So if someone has find, okay, there is a bug bounty programs that they would be applying. I tried to show you, like someone has submitted a kind of a solution, not like solution. They found a remote code of vulnerability in one of the application. They are reported, and he got almost $1,500 or more than that. So I want to show that, but still I'm not able to do that. But let me go with the vulnerability priority. I mean, yeah. So they have a priorities, like P1 is a critical series, remote code vulnerabilities execution, financial theft, or admin accesses. That is very critical and very, very critical. And they'll provide some kind of thing also here. Not on that road. Yeah, someone has written a Medium post, how they found it, and what exactly is this, what kind of a resources. Yeah, I think, yeah, this is the report. I can open up this. Okay, this guy is potential pre-auth RCE on Twitter VPN. He found a remote code execution vulnerability on the VPN itself. How they have done, sometimes what they see, once he got an access of it, he got the entire access of all these files. These are the very crucial files. Okay, in the etc passwords you will get to know, for example, in your organization, how many users are there in that particular Linux system. Okay, and they will find from the etc passwords list, because the users list will be in the etc password list. He accessed that remote mission and then he executed this password file and then understand the entire users list. This is a very huge uh, exploit or a very huge security concern. Okay, so like this is what he has done. He found a code itself. How he has done? He found a secret key. He found a, what does it mean? He reviewed all the source code and then found these many codes he has done, and lot of them. And this is a blender mistake. See, these many IPs they are, and lot, see, there is a lot of conversation. Finally this guy must have bounty of $20,000 here. Okay, this is the CVID they have been published, and weakness is OS command execution. So he's directly executing the OS command itself using this vulnerability. Okay, if you want to save from this kind of a vulnerability issues, you have to protect for that. For example, you can apply this one. Okay, now if we apply this one, there are capacity, right? Okay, I'm gonna apply this 200, this one, and this one here. Okay, so this is a reputation list. What does it mean is, AWS has some kind of a data, which the data is related to reputations of IPs. What reputations of IPs means, since you are in a digital world, if you have a resources in AWS, I mean resources of web application or IP address will have some reputation. That reputation will be based on how you are acting using this IP. For example, if you are spending a spam IP address, I mean spam emails or phishing emails, the IP address or the email address that you have used for phishing or smashing, I mean SMSing, you will get some kind of a bad reputation. That kind of a reputation list Amazon has. If any request is coming from that reputation list, it is going to block. If we want to apply this, or if you want to use this rule set, you need to adopt it. For that, it will consume 25 units of a capacity for your thing. Okay, like this you can do. These are all the free rules which are provided by the AWS itself. Okay, if you want some paid one, especially the bot controls. Okay, bot controls means, right? Some people will be get hijacked, meaning not people, I mean say your electronic devices will be hijacked. It could be your mobile or laptop, anything. If we click on malicious link, what does it do is, once you got hijacked, how hijacked, I mean like a browser hijack, basically it is called a browser hijack. What they do is, your browser will be on their control, meaning they won't do anything for you. What they do is, they will use your browser against some kind of attacks. Okay, what does it mean is, for example, I'm opening my laptop and I'm using it. If I clicked on any malicious activity on my web browser, my browser will be get hijacked. This hijack, what they do is, if they want to write or if they want to attack any of the application, what they do is, whatever they hijack, they will use that hijacked browsers and then access your access, I mean target their web application. For example, I'm for example, let's think I'm a hacker. What I do is, I initially collected all the hijacked browsers, meaning I have sent an malicious code in the form of mail or phishing email or anything, any form, to all my friends list. Whoever trusts me, what they do is, they will access that particular email or phishing. Once they have done is, my malicious code will give me access to their browser itself. Now I have a list of my own, I mean hijacked list for me. What I do is, By using this one, what I do is I'll start doing a denial of service attack against of any your organization, for example, XYZ company or Flipkart or any organization. So what they do is they will be understanding. For example, if I'm targeting a Flipkart, what they do is, okay, I'm getting an IP request from different IP addresses, because that IP addresses which I got, I mean, which I hijack from my own list. So this way I can save from the bot protection control. Okay. I mean, so this is a bypassing a bot controls list. Generally, bot control will have a list of IPs. For example, if Amazon founds I'm keep on hitting a different request, it will add me in their list. Okay, this IP guy is a danger guy, and I'm gonna block him. So like this, he'll have a lot of data. So if we adopt this bot controls, what does it do is it will apply for a couple of charges. That is nothing but a $10 per month and $0.54 per 40 I mean per captcha, and 1 million per 1 million request, $1. So this is how they would be charging. Currently we don't apply, we will just apply our own rules, I mean free rules provided by the AWS resources here. So now I have configured. If you want to go to any specific roles or specific vendor, you can go and then find it here. Now currently, whatever the AWS managed rule groups are which are free, I'm applying those. I'm just clicked on AWS add rules. So this is my capacity here. Total, I can adapt compute units. Basically, this capacity is nothing but a compute units. Okay. So my total compute units which I'm gonna use is 1175 units out of 5,000 units. Okay, so if you cross, they have given here, if you cross, you cannot cross the 5,000 units. If you cross 1,500 web compute units, you are going to be charged. That is what they have given also here. We are safe now, we are using this. Okay, now whatever the requests coming, these ones will be validated by the one by one here. Okay, so based on the capacities here. Okay, so what do you want after doing or after matching it? You want to black or you want to yellow? I want to yellow, because if it is satisfying this rule, it is going to allow me. If it is satisfying any of these rules, it is going to allow me. Okay, so this is what my action if any of this to be satisfied here. Okay, and I'm gonna click here, and then now it is going to show me these are all the requests. And one more thing is, if you see here, the priorities means first totally I do have a 6 rules here, I mean 5 rules here. In the 5 rules, first, for example, a request comes to your web application. The web application could be your ALB, load balancer, and your load balancer first receive a request, and before receiving a request, this webacle receive request and then validate with these 5 rules. Among these 5, based on the priority that we are going to set up, it is going to use it. For example, this is a third, right? I want to be on top priorities list. Okay, this is one. So the first rule is going to check with this set rule set. If it is satisfied, I mean, if it did not found any issues, it will directly jump to the, it will access list. Okay, if it is not satisfied or if it found any issues, it will go to the second rule set, which is in the second one. Or I want this to be a second. Okay, I can move it up here. Like this, it will go one by one if it is not found or if it is not matched it. If did not found any of these layers, it will block by default. That's it. That is what it is. If it is satisfied with any of these one, it is going to head. Satisfy means it is going to protect you from a what is that, common rule set. There are some common restrictions, or for example reputation list. If your IP is not such, does not have an IP reputation, it is going to block you. Okay, your reputation will be based on how, what kind of an activity that you are going to do it. Okay, this is how my rules will be apply and work on it. Now for each and every rule, it is going to create a metric in the CloudWatch, which is nothing for log management purpose here. Okay, now here another option is enable the sample request. What does it mean is, it is going to log a request also. For example, if someone is requesting you or some requests are coming, it will have a some kind of a body or request information, like what is the source IP, what action it is going to do, what kind of resources it is trying to do, is there any payload it is going to add me here. So all these kind of information will be logged here if we select enable sample request here. Now let's continue here. Next, and this is a summary of what I'm gonna, what my webACL looks. My webACL name is this, and scope is a regional, and CloudWatch metric name is this, and these many rules that I have applied are with these orders. And finally, my compute units are 1175. The action which I'm gonna add is hello. Okay, and the domain which I'm gonna add is nothing currently. I don't have any domains list. Domains list means, for example, I do have xyz.com or abc.com. If I have any domains, I can apply all this stuff here. And these are the cloud metrics which is going to apply here. Okay, so I'm gonna create a webACL here, and this is how this looks here. Okay, under the Ohio region, if you select another region, you will get a different one. Okay, now this is how we have created a webACL, and let's open and see how it looks like here. Okay, so currently it will keep on tracking you. These are the rule sets which has been applying it here, and for every for every minute, or for every 3 hours, or for every hour, it is going to show you the data, which is from one, currently from 150 to 250, it is going to show you. For every 5 minutes, it is going to show the data in a graphs here. For example, if on someone trying to trigger, and if this particular rule has been triggered, it won't show you here dots something like this here. I'll show you, even though we don't have a correct one, right? What I do is AWS WSCL for 1 hour. Okay. Okay. This is how your graph looks like. See ups and downs here. So each lines would have some kind of a meaning here itself. Not cloud. Yeah, I mean, basically you would get a graph, what kind of, what kind of a rules which was being applied, and what are all these, everything would be defined here itself. Okay, see, meaning these are all, these many alls will be graph if it is get triggered here, and once it is logged, are there any sample request that is captured, so you can find all these. Okay, this is a overview dashboard. Now the thing is, rules here, what kind of a rules that you have been applied for this webACL, and what is the priority here, and how much compute units it is going to consume, and then what kind of an action, and what kind of a webACL capture, I mean captcha has been configured for you, and how much time it is going to give for validating at max, which is a 300 seconds, and for validating things. Okay, and next one is what kind of a bot controls has been for you, and currently there is no I mean there is no data that we do have which someone has tried with the bot controls. So this is one. Another one is the account takeover. These are the new version which I mentioned right here. So these two things will be, these are the one: account takeover action, account for the prevention, based on the if you adopt any of the managed rules related to the account prevention or bot controller, and it would have been shown here. The list will be changed if you adopt another service, another managed service. Okay, so this is how it will be changed. And what kind of AWS resources that you got attached for this region. Okay, currently I don't have. If I have, I can do that. See, these many lambdas, anything API gateways I do have. What I do is I can click on this one and then I can attach this. I do have a one API gateway under this resources. These are the resources which I got have movie API or DynamoDB API, test node API. These many API gateways I do have in my region under the API gateway services. For example, if I want to application load balancer, I do have a test load balancer I can apply. So all these rules is going to apply, all this webACL is going to apply for all these my test ALB and movie ALB. Okay, sorry, movie API. So like this, I can add multiple resources to protect against different type of attacks from attackers. So, and next one is a custom response body. For example, if someone is trying to access you, they would get a 404 or 40, some kind of a response to them for their request. If you want to customize that response that you are going to tell them, this is the place where you can create it. And what kind of a, hey, I want a custom body name, like not good idea message. For example, I want to send some message to the hacker saying that error not good idea. Or so this is the message I want to send to hacker if he's getting a unauthorized access. So once I have created it here, so I can send this to, I can apply these responses. It will send these responses to a hacker who is getting a unauthorized access here. And what kind of a metrics it is going to logs, what are all that information. Okay, so this is what that information which contains a what kind of a logging it has. Okay, the best option is we should be enabling a logs which has very detailed information, but only the thing is it will cost for you. Okay, that's how their logic is. And currently we don't have any CloudWatch logs for this one. And if any request comes, automatically CloudWatch logs will be get created, and you will get a insights from the logs as a kind of a summary. Okay, this is all about the one webACL. And even if you want to download this definition and forward to someone, right, you can download this entire in the JSON format here itself. This JSON will have a different things here itself. Okay, so that's it for today, and even all the webACL reports, and even all the reg expression rules, rule groups, that these are all the stuff here. But anyway, just stay on here. We can create our own rule sets also here that we can apply here. What I can do is I can create a rule set. Now till now, what we have done is we have used a rule set which has been created by someone. Okay, which are could be free and as well as a charged based one. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own rule. That rule name is my 7 a.m. custom rule, and the metric name is the same, and the region that I'm going to create is over here. and I'm gonna add a rule. That rule is nothing but a IP rate limit. Okay, it is a rate based load, meaning what rule I'm gonna create is, I want generally how attacker thinks is they will have a different kinds of attacks. I mean, they would do the different types of attacks, right? One such among is rate limit. Rate limit means, for example, there is a Flipkart login. All right. The Flipkart, if we keep on signing in, for example, if we keep on sending 1,000 requests per 1 minute by writing a simple program, it has to fail. I mean, um, the Flipkart should show that it should block us. For example, the simple example is, if you are keep on trying for continuously 3 wrong passwords, it should stop you. Hey dude, you have done with the 3 attempts that has been failed. Please wait for another 5 minutes and then try again. It's like you should be, meaning that particular API, that particular application has a rate limit, meaning there is a limit for logging an application. Okay, it should have that kind of a functionality if you want to save from a DDoS attacks. If you don't have, or if you don't have a rate limit, what does it happen is, your server will keep on receive a request from unknown types, either could be a programs or a different persons. Your server will be busy. Okay, totally your entire compute power will be consumed in order to saying that wrong IP, wrong IP, wrong IP, something like this. So you totally consumed of all your compute units or compute power of your EC2 machine. So you will at one day, if keep on trying for one day, your server will be down for definitely for sure. So to avoid such kind of things, the API whoever has written, they should have a validation of a rate limit also. So for this, I'm gonna create my own uh, rule. Okay, that rule is, okay, IP rate limit, and this rate limit is 50, not 50, 150. Your rate limit should be 100 to 2000 million requests here. I mean, not 2000, 20 million requests here. And meaning if anyone is trying keep on for 150 requests based on source IP address or IP addresses or custom keys or count all, if we kept all like this, see, if IP address is, if I select the, if my condition is using IP based, statement matches all, inspect originates from a country called, for example, China. I want my web application should not be accessed by the IP addresses which are originated from a China. Okay, this is what, and one more thing is Pakistan. If I select this one, so no one is able to access my application if they are from a China or Pakistan region itself. This is because I have restricted based on IP addresses here. Okay, and if I have IP addresses in header, meaning let me show you here itself. For every request which is going to, for example, yeah, see this origin. There is a something called origin. You would get some kind of a header information here. This, yeah, request headers. There is that request headers. If the request header is having some kind of a data like this Windows or something, if I want to block based on this, I can apply the X forward. For example, if anyone is sending some kind of a request, this kind of a key. So if if an IP address contains a header with this field name, it is going to block it. Either you want to block, or you want to count for some time, or you want to show a captcha, or you want to show a challenge, if any of these rule sets matched. Okay, so now I want to block. Either my rule name is a IP rate limit and it is based on the rate limit. And if I have a 150 count, if the source IP address is from China or Pakistan, and if the IP address has a header called SecCHUA platform, if all is been matching, please block them. This is my rule. This is a rate capacity is 3. It is saying that your rate capacity should be between a between 1 to 500. I'm going to give a 10 because the minimum rate capacity you should give a 3. Okay. This is my rule. Okay. Now, once I'm done with this, this is my all this. And I can create a group also here. This is my custom rule group. And if I have my group here, I have only one rule. If I want another rule, for example, block based on path, I'll tell you this. If your request matches UI path, that path should be exactly match the string. Meaning, let me show you what I'm talking is, if I click on sign on here, you would get an account, right? This is a URI path here. Okay. If you click on, every web application also will have some kind of admin, right? Admin. These are the paths here. Okay. Similarly, if anyone is accessing the URI path, that admin, whoever is trying to access /admin, please block them. I'm gonna do it. Please, I'm blocking them, or I'm gonna count, or I'm gonna provide the captcha for them, whoever is trying to access of admin in their URI. I'm gonna block them. You can do any of these actions. Okay. For me, I want to block it. Whoever is accessing a URI path /admin, that is nothing but a /admin, which should exactly match the string. Or I want to something like contains a word, for example, access. If anyone is trying to access any of the navigation URL using access keyword, it is going to block. Or if the word matches some regular expression, that regular expression, something which I have been shown you, right? You can create some regular expression and give it here. So like this, you can apply all your condition patterns and then create another rule here. So like this, I do have two rules, and these two rules capacity is this, and I have added these two rules into a rule here. I mean my rule group here. Okay. Now this is my my own rules here. Now let's see how can I utilize this. Create another webal, my own ACL, and here let's add something. Let's do the same thing here, and then create here. Now in this one, click on add rules, right? Here you would select the add my own rules and rule groups here. Earlier we have used rules managed by someone or developed by someone. Now here I want to apply my own rules here. Which kind of a rule that you want? IP set or rule group that you do have? The rule group that you do have is only one. You just applied here. My own rule group. So the request, I want this, and total capacity is 10 units, and I'm gonna allow, I mean block, because my rules are going to block here. Totally I'm applying here. Okay, this is going to create these many metrics and all the stuff here. And as usual, remove same process, review all your web app and then show you here. So this is how you do create your own set of rules, and I mean your webacle with the own set of rules here. Okay. Any questions, guys? I think if you have any questions, please reach out, or you can discuss something later. Yeah, this is going to be create. This is what we were been talking. I mean, this is how the entire webacle. Okay, and AWS WAF. Okay. Any questions, guys? If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we can discuss it tomorrow itself. Currently, I do have a two webacles. I mean, two WAF rules. I mean, two web application firewall rules. So I can apply these. Currently, these are in status. I mean, active status now. Okay. I hope that you understand it, but this is very important, and this will give you uh, kind of a protection from different types of attacks by adopting managed and own rules, and you are doing. That's it, guys. Thank you.